Welcome back to our channel, English with Ethan, dear friends. Today, we begin the inspiring journey of a man who carried the weight of a nation's pride on his shoulders. A man who never chased money but built an empire on integrity, kindness, and vision. This is the story of Ratan Tata, one of India's most respected and loved industrialists. Let's begin from the very beginning. Part 1. The beginning of a gentleman. Ratan Tata's early life and struggles. A quiet boy with a big name. Ratan Tata was born on 28 December 1937 in Mumbai, India. He was born into the famous Tata family, a name known across India for its business empire. But being born into a rich family didn't mean his life was easy. His parents separated when he was just 10 years old. This left a deep mark on young Ratan's heart. He was raised by his grandmother, Lady Navahbai Tata, a strong and wise woman who became his emotional anchor. Even as a boy, Ratan was soft-spoken, kind-hearted, and deeply thoughtful. He never showed off his family name. He didn't grow up spoiled. Instead, he learned the values of discipline, simplicity, and honesty. Studying abroad. Far from home. Ratan Tata was sent to study in the U.S. at a young age. He went to the Cornell University in New York, where he studied architecture and structural engineering. Far away from India, he had to live like a common student. He washed his own clothes, cooked his meals, and cleaned his room. He even worked part-time at construction sites and garages to earn extra money. This was the turning point in his life. It taught him, your last name may open doors, but your character will decide how long you stay inside. In America, he learned to live independently. He fell in love with machines, design, and the process of building. Not just buildings, but ideas. He had every chance to stay abroad and live a luxurious life. But he chose to return to India. Why? Because he believed, if you've been given a good life, you must give something back. Returning to Tata Group, a humble start. When Ratan Tata returned to India, he did not become a CEO right away. Even though he belonged to the Tata family, he started his career in a small Tata company. He worked on the shop floor at Tata Steel in Jamshedpur. He wore a helmet, worked with laborers, and even shoveled limestone. He did not demand a big office, and he never used his family name to gain special treatment. People around him said, he's too soft to survive the rough world of business. He doesn't have the sharpness of a businessman. He won't last long. But Ratan Tata kept quiet and kept working. He believed, let your work speak louder than your words. The struggle for respect. During the early years, Ratan Tata faced many challenges. Many senior executives in the Tata Group didn't take him seriously. They thought he was just a family member with no real experience. They ignored his ideas, avoided his suggestions, and even tried to block his growth. But Ratan Tata didn't complain. He didn't fight back with anger. He responded with hard work, dedication, and patience. Slowly, he started to prove himself. Not through power, but through performance. Learning from J.R.D. Tata. The most important mentor in Ratan Tata's life was J.R.D. Tata, the legendary businessman who built Air India and expanded the Tata empire with honesty and vision. J.R.D. saw something special in Ratan. He admired his humility, his humanity, and his sense of responsibility. One day, J.R.D. told Ratan, you are the future of this group. Never forget, Tata is not just a company, it is a trust. Our purpose is to serve the nation. These words stayed in Ratan's heart forever. He promised himself, I will never let the Tata name fall, no matter what the cost. Dreaming big. but waiting for his time. Even in his early career, Ratan Tata had big dreams for the Tata Group. He wanted to bring innovation. He wanted the Tata Group to go global. He wanted to make India proud on the world stage. But it wasn't his time yet. He had to wait, watch, and learn. Ratan Tata was not just building a career. He was building something much deeper, a vision for the future. He knew that one day he would be tested, and he wanted to be ready. Part 2. The Reluctant Leader. Ratan Tata becomes chairman. Ratan Tata was still a quiet man. He didn't speak much in meetings. He avoided the spotlight. He stayed calm, even when others doubted him. But deep inside, he had a fire. A dream to change not just a company, but a country. A dream to make India strong, respected, and global. And in 1991, the moment finally came. J.R.D. Tata, the legendary leader of the Tata Group, stepped down. He looked at the board and said, "My successor will be Ratan." The room went silent. Many were shocked. Many were angry. They didn't believe Ratan Tata was ready. The war inside the company. When Ratan Tata was made chairman of the Tata Group, many senior leaders opposed the decision. Some of them had worked in the company for 30 to 40 years. They were powerful. They controlled big companies like Tata Steel, Tata Motors, and Tata Power. They didn't want to listen to Ratan. They said, "He's soft. He doesn't understand business. He'll destroy the group." But Ratan Tata stayed calm. He didn't shout. He didn't fire anyone. He didn't fight for power. Instead, he listened, observed, and waited. Slowly, he started to make small changes and big plans. Vision for One Tata. At that time, the Tata Group was like a loose collection of companies. Each company worked independently. There was no unity, no shared brand, no single direction. Ratan Tata had a clear vision. We must unite. We must speak with one voice. We must become One Tata. He began to bring all the companies under one brand. He introduced Tata as a single identity. He pushed for innovation, quality, and global thinking. It was difficult. Many leaders resisted, but slowly, they began to see the results. Customers trusted the Tata name. Employees felt proud. Investors started believing in the group again. Tata Indica, the first Indian car. In the late 1990s, Ratan Tata made a bold announcement. "We will build India's first fully homemade car." Everyone laughed. Even his closest advisors warned him. They said, "Sir, we don't have the technology. No one will buy an Indian car. It will fail." Ratan Tata smiled and replied, "It doesn't matter. We will try, for the pride of India." And in 1998, the Tata Indica was born. India's first indigenously developed car. At first, the car struggled. Sales were low. Media criticized it. But Ratan didn't give up. He improved the design, added features, and fixed problems. Within a few years, Tata Indica became a bestseller. It was not just a car. It was a message to the world. India can build. India can dream. India can succeed. A visit to the dealership. The birth of Tata Nano. One day, Ratan Tata visited a small car dealership. Outside, he saw a family of 4, a father, mother, and 2 kids, riding on a scooter in the rain. The kids were wet. The mother was shivering. The father was struggling to balance. That image touched his heart. He thought, "This is not safe." Every Indian family deserves a safe car they can afford. That moment gave birth to a dream. A car for the common man. A car that costs less than a motorbike. And that's how the idea of Tata Nano was born. Going global, buying Jaguar and Land Rover. In 2008, something unthinkable happened. Tata Motors bought Jaguar and Land Rover, two luxury car brands from Britain. The same foreign brands that once ruled India were now owned by an Indian company. It was a moment of national pride. The international media was shocked. They said, "How can an Indian company handle such premium brands?" But under Tata's leadership, Jaguar and Land Rover recovered, grew, and thrived. Ratan Tata proved once again, we don't buy companies to show power. We buy them to make them better. More than money. The Tata philosophy. Ratan Tata believed in something different. He didn't believe in just profits. He believed in purpose. He once said, "I don't believe in making the rich richer. I believe in touching lives." Under his leadership, Tata Group built schools, hospitals, and universities. Tata Trusts donated billions of rupees to health, education, and rural development. During disasters, Tata workers were the first to help. During terrorist attacks, Tata employees risked their lives to save guests, like in the 26th of November Taj Hotel attack. He created a culture where the goal was not just to earn, but to give back. Words that moved a generation. Ratan Tata became more than a businessman. He became a mentor, a role model, a voice of reason in a noisy world. Here are some of his most powerful words. Take the stones people throw at you and use them to build a monument. I don't believe in taking the right decisions. I take decisions and then make them right. Ups and downs in life are very important. They teach you to be humble. We generate wealth, not for personal gain, but for the nation. Part 3. The graceful exit, Ratan Tata's retirement and legacy. The world knew Ratan Tata as the man who built businesses. But those who truly understood him knew something deeper. He was also the man who knew how to step away with dignity, with silence, and with humility. In this chapter, we explore how Ratan Tata chose to retire, why he never clung to power, and how he continued to serve the world even after stepping down, preparing to say goodbye. As Ratan Tata moved through his 70s, he began to prepare for a new chapter. He didn't want to hold on to his position forever. He wasn't addicted to titles or chairs. He believed, a good leader knows when to step forward, but a great leader knows when to step aside. So, in 2012, after over 20 years as the chairman of the Tata Group, Ratan Tata decided to retire from active leadership. The day the nation got emotional. On 28th December 2012, his 75th birthday, Ratan Tata officially stepped down. There were no big celebrations, no huge speeches, no emotional breakdowns. He simply walked out of the Tata Group's headquarters in Mumbai, waved at the media, got into his small Tata Indigo car, and drove himself home. No luxury, no bodyguards, just like any other ordinary man. But that simple act touched millions of hearts. News channels called it the end of an era. A billionaire who left with silence. The most loved businessman India ever had. Looking back, what he left behind. When Ratan Tata took charge in 1991, the Tata Group was worth around rupees 10,000 crore. By the time he retired, the group was worth over rupees 4,75,000 crore. It had companies in more than 100 countries. It had hundreds of thousands of employees. But for Ratan Tata, these numbers were never the true measurement of success. He believed, money is like seawater. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. Instead, his true success was in trust. Even a poor man in a village knew the Tata name. And when he saw it, he said, "Yes, I can trust this." The man who stayed humble. Even after retirement, Ratan Tata refused to act like a former king. He lived simply. He didn't buy yachts or private jets. He stayed in a small flat in Mumbai. He drove himself. He spent time with young startups, students, and entrepreneurs. And most importantly, he began helping people more quietly than ever before. The return nobody expected. In 2016, something unexpected happened. The Tata Group was going through a tough time. There was confusion, disagreement, and a leadership crisis. The board decided to remove the new chairman, but the company needed someone calm, strong, and trusted to guide them again, even if just for a short time. And they turned to Ratan Tata. Even though he had retired, even though he had already given everything, Ratan Tata returned. Not for power, not for pride, but for the sake of the Tata family and its values. He guided the group for a few more months and helped choose the next rightful leader. He showed the world. Real leaders don't retire from responsibility. A man of the people. In 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic hit India, millions of people were scared, jobless, and hungry. Ratan Tata didn't wait for the government. He didn't post long tweets. He didn't organize press conferences. Instead, he quietly announced a donation of rupees, 500 crore to fight COVID. This money went to buy hospital equipment, fund vaccine research, support daily wage workers, build quarantine centers, and this wasn't just a one-time act. He continued to help behind the scenes, without noise, without cameras. That's how Ratan Tata became not just a businessman, but a symbol of humanity. Helping the disabled and forgotten. Ratan Tata is also known for supporting people others forget. The differently abled, transgender people, abandoned senior citizens, rural women entrepreneurs. He supports startups that make life better for disabled people. From wheelchair tech to smart prosthetic limbs. He also supports animal care, personally adopting stray dogs and funding animal shelters. He once said, "The day you stop caring about the weak, you stop being a human." Supporting the next generation. After retirement, Ratan Tata became a mentor for young entrepreneurs. He started investing in small Indian startups, many of them run by people in their 20s or 30s. Startups like Ola, ride-sharing, Paytm, digital payments, Urban Ladder, home decor, CureFit, health and fitness, Zivame, women's clothing. He didn't just give them money, he gave them confidence. He told them, it's okay to fail. Just fail with honesty. Young entrepreneurs across India began to say, if Ratan Tata believes in me, I must be doing something right. The man who refused to marry. There's one part of Ratan Tata's life many people don't know. He never got married. In an interview, he once said, I fell in love once, but couldn't marry her due to family and responsibilities. But he never complained. He never became bitter. He poured all his love into his work, his team, his country, and his dogs. He said, I may not have a family of my own, but I see all my employees as part of my family. That's why so many people call him Tata Sir, not just because of his name, but because of the respect he earned. Ratan Tata passed away peacefully. In his final days, Ratan Tata stayed in Breach Candy Hospital, Mumbai, under the care of doctors. His health had weakened with age, and on the night of the 9th of October 2024, at the age of 86, he passed away peacefully. The next morning, his body was brought to the NCPA lawns, where thousands came to pay respects. From workers to world leaders, everyone stood in silence for the man who had touched so many lives. Later, at the Worli Parsi crematorium, he was given state honors, with a ceremonial guard of honor and prayers. People across India lit candles, shared stories, and remembered him not just as a businessman, but as a kind soul who built dreams for others. He left the world quietly, the same way he had lived, with dignity, humility, and service. Part 4. Life Lessons from Ratan Tata. Rules to Live with Purpose. So far, we have seen Ratan Tata the child, the leader, and the gentleman who walked away from power with dignity. But what truly makes him great are the values he lived by. Not the wealth he created, but the wisdom he followed. In this chapter, we explore the most powerful life lessons from Ratan Tata. Lessons that can change your life if you truly live by them. Lesson 1. Power is not in the chair. It's in the person. When Ratan Tata stepped down as chairman of Tata Group, the chair remained. But the respect, love, and admiration followed him, not the position. He taught us, don't chase the title, chase the character. A real leader doesn't need to shout. A real leader's presence is felt even in silence. Whether you're a student, a worker, or a business owner, remember, your name, not your title, builds your legacy. Lesson 2. Start from the ground, even if your name is on the building. Ratan Tata was born into the Tata family. He could have chosen luxury. But he started from the bottom, working with workers in hot factories, not in air-conditioned offices. He didn't expect special treatment. He earned respect the hard way. This teaches us, your background is not your achievement. Your real value is in what you create, not what you inherit. Never be ashamed to start small. Be ashamed only of not giving your best. Lesson 3. Think big, but stay grounded. Ratan Tata dreamed of building India's first car, buying foreign companies, and creating global brands. But he still lived in a simple home, drove himself, wore the same kind of clothes every day, talked to everyone with respect, from security guards to CEOs. He once said, I don't believe in throwing my weight around. Let your work do that. True success isn't loud. It's quiet confidence. Lesson 4. Be brave enough to be different. Many times, people told Ratan Tata, don't build the Indica, it will fail. Don't buy Jaguar Land Rover, it's too risky. Don't dream too big. But he followed his own path, even when people laughed, even when people warned him. He moved forward with courage, and in the end, he proved them all wrong. The world is full of people who copy, but only those who dare to dream differently make history. Lesson 5. Business is not just for profit, it's for people. While most companies focus only on money, Ratan Tata believed, the community is not just another stakeholder. It is the purpose of our existence. That's why the Tata Group donates over 60% of its wealth through trusts, supports education, healthcare, and disaster relief, builds schools, hospitals, and clean water systems, treats employees like family, not machines. He didn't just build profits. He built hope, trust, and opportunity. Lesson 6. Live simply. Give generously. Despite being one of India's richest men, Ratan Tata never showed off. He didn't own flashy cars or big mansions. He didn't appear at celebrity parties. He didn't try to become famous. Instead, he helped startups, adopted stray dogs, supported animal shelters, donated to hospitals, encouraged rural women entrepreneurs. He believed, if you have more than you need, don't build higher walls, build longer tables. Lesson 7. Not all pain is visible, but it shapes your strength. Ratan Tata lost his parents to divorce when he was just 10. He lost the love of his life due to family pressure. He was doubted, criticized, and sometimes betrayed, but he never let pain turn him bitter. He smiled. He kept working, and he kept giving. This teaches us, life will not always be kind, but we must choose to remain kind anyway. Lesson 8. Don't wait for the world to change. Be the reason it changes. Whether it was building the Tata Nano or buying Jaguar, whether it was rescuing the Taj Hotel after the 26/11 attacks, whether it was helping people during COVID, Ratan Tata never said, "Let someone else do it." He stepped forward. That's leadership. That's greatness. You don't need to be rich to make a difference. You just need a brave heart and a kind soul. Lesson 9. Stay true to your values, even when no one is watching. Ratan Tata never played dirty. He didn't bribe. He didn't manipulate. He didn't cheat. He won with truth. He lost with grace. He once said, "There is no legacy richer than honesty." In a world full of shortcuts and lies, his life is a reminder that integrity is power. Part 5. The man who inspired a generation. Ratan Tata's impact on India and the world. By the time Ratan Tata stepped away from the Tata Group, he had already created a massive empire. But what he left behind was more than business success. He left behind an example, a new model of leadership, humanity, and hope. He didn't just change companies, he changed mindsets. He didn't just build industries, he built a generation of thinkers, dreamers, and doers. Let's explore how Ratan Tata became the most respected Indian icon, not just for businessmen, but for everyone. Trusted by the young. In today's world, young people admire actors, influencers, or athletes. But in India, Ratan Tata became something very rare, a business leader who is also a youth icon. Why? Because he never acted like a boss. He listened to young voices. He believed in ideas over age. And most of all, he mentored without judging. College students follow his quotes. Startup founders seek his advice. Teenagers read his story for motivation. He once said, "I don't care if your idea fails. I care if you give up before trying." His message to young India was simple. You are never too young to dream and never too old to try. Fueling the startup culture, he believed in the spirit of Indian youth and gave them confidence when no one else did. A role model in classrooms. Many schools and colleges across India began teaching case studies about Ratan Tata. Why? Because he represents something that textbooks cannot teach. Ethics in business. Grace in failure. Kindness in success. Long-term thinking over short-term profits. Professors say, if you want to know what a real Indian entrepreneur looks like, study Ratan Tata. Students say, he is the only billionaire we feel is truly one of us. He is the face of values in a world chasing fame. Celebrated in media and pop culture. Even though Ratan Tata avoids media attention, the world can't stop talking about him. His quotes go viral on social media. His photos with rescue dogs melt hearts. His humble lifestyle surprises international journalists. His calm voice in interviews brings hope to millions. In 2021, when he turned 84, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn were flooded with messages like, "Happy birthday to the most loved man in India." No one can replace Ratan Tata. He is the soul of Indian business. He's been awarded Padma Bhushan 2000, Padma Vibhushan 2008, honorary doctorates from universities worldwide, and a place in the hearts of 1.4 billion people, changing the face of Indian business. Before Ratan Tata, most Indian businesses were known for keeping things local, avoiding risks, thinking small, playing it safe. But Ratan Tata changed everything. He taught India to think globally, take bold risks, innovate constantly, lead with ethics. He took Tata Group from a conservative Indian company to a global business giant. Today, Tata has 29 publicly listed companies, presence in over 100 countries, products that touch almost every Indian's life, from salt to steel, tea to trucks, cars to IT services. He showed the world that India can lead, not just follow. A symbol of trust and humanity. What do people say when they hear the word Tata? They don't think only about business. They think about honesty, safety, charity, national pride. That's because of Ratan Tata. His actions during the 26th of November Mumbai attacks proved this again. He didn't just offer money to victims. He personally visited injured employees. He paid for their medical treatment. He supported their families. For life. Even in moments of danger and sadness, he stood like a father to his people. He reminded India, a business is not a building, it's a family, and we must take care of each other. The legacy of a gentleman. In a country full of noise, scams, and ego-driven headlines, Ratan Tata remained the quiet achiever. He never shouted. He never fought for attention. He never tried to show off. He just kept doing the right thing, day after day, year after year. And that's what makes him immortal in people's hearts. He showed that. You can be powerful and still humble. You can be rich and still generous. You can be a boss and still be kind. You can be successful and still human. What we can all learn. Ratan Tata's impact is not just in factories or companies. His impact is in how we think. He taught us to dream big, but live simply. To create wealth, but share it. To lead others, but never stop learning. To never forget the people who helped us rise. He once said, "None can destroy iron, but its own rust can. Likewise, none can destroy a person, but his own mindset can." Part 6. The Legacy of a Gentleman. How Ratan Tata lives forever. Some people build businesses, some people build buildings, but a few rare people. They build nations, they build values, and they build hearts. Ratan Tata is one of those rare people. He may have stepped down from his position. He may not appear in news every day, but his presence, his principles, and his legacy live on, everywhere. Let's now look at what Ratan Tata truly left behind, and how we all can carry a piece of his greatness within us. A man who chose the harder path. In today's world, it's easy to take shortcuts. Lie a little, cheat a little, show off a little. But Ratan Tata chose the harder way, the path of truth, patience, and long-term vision. He once said, "There is no right way to do the wrong thing." He refused to give bribes, even when deals were at stake. He walked away from opportunities that didn't match his ethics. He focused on doing good, not just looking good. And in return, he earned something more powerful than money. He earned trust. A teacher without a classroom. Ratan Tata never stood at a blackboard. He never published a book on leadership. He never held master classes or gave motivational speeches on stage. But his life became the biggest lesson of all. What he taught us. Leadership is not about commanding. It's about listening. Success is not about fame. It's about impact. Greatness is not loud. It's quiet and kind. He taught us that you don't need to be aggressive to succeed. You don't need to step on others to rise. You don't need to be feared to be respected. A legacy beyond business. Ratan Tata didn't just leave behind a group of companies. He left behind a group of ideals. Build businesses that solve problems. Create wealth that uplifts lives. Earn trust that lasts for generations. He turned Tata into a name that people believe in, from the richest to the poorest. Whether it's Tata Salt in kitchens, Tata Steel in buildings, or Tata Trusts in hospitals, his touch is felt everywhere in India. And that's true legacy, when your name becomes a promise, not just a brand. The man with the softest heart. Despite all his achievements, Ratan Tata is best known for his soft heart. He adopted abandoned dogs. He supported orphaned children. He defended the transgender community. He donated silently to cancer patients and rural hospitals. He visited victims of terror attacks, not for the camera, but for comfort. He once said, "If you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to walk far, walk together." And that's how he lived, never leaving anyone behind. Why we need Ratan Tata's values today. The world today is filled with fake influencers, greedy businessmen, shouting leaders, broken promises. In this world, Ratan Tata's story stands tall like a lighthouse, a symbol of what's still possible. That you can be successful and still be honest. That you can be rich and still be humble. That you can lead and still be loved. He didn't change with trends. He stayed true to his soul. Ratan Tata never said, "Follow me," but he quietly showed us how to live. And maybe, just maybe, that's the challenge he left for us. Don't just admire me. Be like me. Live for a purpose. Lead with your heart. And leave the world better than you found it. You don't need to own a company to follow Ratan Tata's path. You just need to be kind, be honest, think bigger than yourself, and do the right thing, even when no one is watching. That's how Ratan Tata will live on, not in statues or awards, but in our actions, our choices, and our hearts. This was the final part of Ratan Tata's inspiring story, a journey of humility, strength, and service. A life that proves true greatness is built with silence, values, and love. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's not just remember Ratan Tata. Let's become more like him. One honest action at a time. One kind word at a time. One brave decision at a time.